Gene, what do you make of what's going on right now? I guess you can take it whatever way you want. You can be an attorney and try to figure out the outcome, but I guess in the end, we really want you to help us play the stock. What does it mean for Twitter? If I'm a shareholder, am I holding on tight, hoping that the court makes Elon buy for $44 billion?
I think you should let go of that hope immediately and start to play the game that Elon is not going to settle. That's not in his vocabulary. I agree with Karen. He's going to see this through to the trial in October. And to answer your question, Courtney, what should investors do? This is not investment advice, but a prediction is I think that this goes to court and ultimately Elon is going to pay probably $4 or $5 billion. A convenient number would be $4 billion. He gives up his 10%. He gives $1 billion back as part of the deal. That is a win for Twitter. That would basically get the stock into the mid 40s from here. And I think if you put it into perspective, is that a 10% move with all these fireworks around here probably isn't great risk reward, but I think that there is a biased higher here, just given that I think that the evidence here, or that I think the outcome here is probably stacked as of today in Twitter's favor.
Gene, it's Tim. Sentiment in the stock, which is where I think you've been discussing around. You've certainly been out there on the right side of the negative sentiment over the last few weeks. But, you know, stock's up 20% off of those lows 4 or 5 days ago. It's had a major bounce back. But here they are coming out with earnings on Friday. What do you expect there? Is there anything on the fundamentals here that gives you reason to think, again, a reset here, which has been to almost nothing, could surprise?
I think the fundamentals are probably going to be ugly. I think that's part of the reason why Twitter has been pushing hard for moving to an expedited trial, is that they're going to be able to stand and say, look at the damage that's been done to the business. I think so. The headlines here, I think, coming on the report are going to be negative. I do put some a glimmer or some confidence that even through all that negativity, I think investors have been through so much here that they're going to be able to look through to what is core to Twitter. That's 200 million daily active users. If you look at the value per DAU relative to Meta, and they're down a lot too, but it's trading at almost a 60% discount relative to that. And so I would say, Tim, is that it's going to be a mess when they report and they guide. They're going to blame it on Elon, but I think investors will largely look through it.
That is really fascinating for how we play this. I mean, what do you think that this says for Twitter going forward? Did it shake them fundamentally at all in the way that they're looking through things? It does seem like they're trying to clean things up as it pertains to bots, perhaps. Maybe not to Elon's up to par with what he really thinks is appropriate, but maybe it's shaken some good in the company for their fundamental standing.
I think once all of this clears up, I think this has been a shot of adrenaline for the company to ultimately be more aggressive at monetizing. I think Elon, for that period where he actually did want to do this, there's a few weeks there where he was talking with the company and giving some ideas about monetization. I think that did spark some good conversations, and ultimately, I think they're going to find ways. It comes back to the value that investors are placing on each of those daily users. And so, Courtney, I think that there will be some good that will come out of this, but I want to caution, I don't want to send a mixed message here. I think in the near term on this earnings report, it's going to be a mess, because I think that those people, those employees that are implementing those changes in those products, I think their minds are on something totally different. They're thinking, do they need to get another job? They're obviously following everything that's going on. It's not a productive time at Twitter.
No, absolutely. There's a lot of people involved in the crosshairs of this. Stay with us right here, if you would, for a second, Gene. I want to bring in some of the traders. Dan, I know Karen kind of gave you a nod when she was discussing the position that she took today. This is fast money. This may not end up to be ultimately the deal that Twitter had hoped to make, but is there a trade to be made here?
Yeah, no, I suspect Karen's selling vol against her long stock position. She called this really well. She bought calls, I think, when the stock was in the low 30s, playing for this very move. Now that you got the kind of announcement, there might not be a whole heck of a lot of news. That being said, you know, Gene just said he doesn't think there's a chance that Elon settles. Let's see where Tesla's stock is after this report and what that means for his ability to close on a deal if he is actually, you know, ruled in that court in Delaware in October that he has has to, because it sounds like a lot of the participants who are going to kind of supply some of the equity and the debt are not that interested in doing it. The company is not worth what he's trying to pay for that, and that would be a basically 50% bump from where the stock is right now, a $30 billion market cap. He does own 9%, as Gene said. I just don't think it's particularly interesting. I don't think he's going to close on it, and I don't think the stock's worth the enterprise value of, in and around $30 billion where it is right now.